I just wanted someone to hang out with so I wouldn't look lonely on my birthday. The app looked sketchy, but John seemed normal. That was 3 months ago. Now John lives in my attic. The police can't find any record of his existence, and last night, I found photos of me sleeping on my phone, dating back to before I even downloaded the app. If you're feeling lonely tonight, please, just stay alone, because the alternative is much, much worse. This happened to me during my sophomore year at a university in Boston. I was living alone in a small, cramped apartment just off campus. Moving from a small town to a huge city was rough. I didn't make friends easily. I was the definition of an introvert. By October, my 20th birthday was coming up. My parents called to wish me a happy birthday, but after hanging up, the silence in my apartment felt heavy. To pass the time, I did what I usually do when I'm bored. I browsed the internet. But that night, out of pure curiosity, I opened Tor and started looking through old, sketchy onion sites on the deep web. I wasn't looking for anything illegal, just weird forums, urban legends, that kind of stuff. But then on a random horror forum, I saw a banner ad. It looked incredibly corporate and out of place. It said, peer-to-peer, rent a companion, $20 an hour, no questions asked. I laughed. I thought it was a joke or some weird parody site. But out of sheer loneliness and a bit of dark humor, I clicked it. The site asked for my location, the time I wanted the companion to arrive, and a brief description of what we'd do. I filled it out. I selected a profile named John. His profile picture was heavily blurred, but his reviews were all 5 stars, saying things like, "John is the perfect match. I paid using $20 worth of Bitcoin, thinking I just lost money to a scam and closed my laptop." Exactly at 10 p.m., my doorbell rang. My heart jumped. I didn't think anyone would actually show up. I walked over, unlocked the door, and opened it. Standing there was a guy who looked to be in his late 20s. He wore a plain gray hoodie and jeans. He looked completely normal except for one thing, his smile. It was a bit too wide, and his eyes, they were completely unblinking. "Hey, you must be Leo. I'm John," he said. His voice was incredibly smooth, almost too practiced. We decided to walk to a local 24-hour diner down the street. At first, the conversation was normal. We talked about sports, movies, and the city. But about 30 minutes in, things started getting weird. John started bringing up details about my life that I never posted online, let alone on that sketchy website. He asked how my dog Buster was doing. Buster was my childhood dog who passed away 5 years ago back in my hometown. I never told John about him. When I asked him how he knew that, John just chuckled and said, "Oh, you mentioned it in your bio." But I knew I didn't. My bio on the app was just 2 sentences long. The rest of the night felt deeply uncomfortable. John didn't eat anything. He just sat there staring at me with that unblinking smile, nodding at everything I said. By midnight, our 2 hours were up. We walked back to my apartment building. I thanked him, trying to act polite so I could just go inside and lock the door. John looked at me, his smile dropping for a split second before returning. He said, "Our time for tonight is up, Leo, but our contract isn't." Before I could ask what he meant, he turned around and walked into the foggy street. I ran up to my apartment, locked the deadbolt, and immediately opened my laptop to check the website. The URL was gone. The page just read, 404 server not found. Over the next 2 weeks, I tried to convince myself that John was just a creepy guy who did too much background research on his clients. But then, the messages started. It began with a text from an unknown encrypted number. It was a photo of me walking into my morning lecture. No text, just the photo. I thought it was a prank. But the next day, another photo arrived. This time, it was a picture of the back of my head while I was buying coffee at the campus cafe. The person taking the photo was standing less than 3 feet behind me, and I never even noticed. I replied, threatening to call the police. The unknown number immediately sent back a message. "Subscriptions cannot be canceled during the trial period." I blocked the number, but new ones kept texting me. I was becoming a paranoid mess. I stopped going to classes. I kept my blinds pulled shut all day. Then the noises started. My apartment was on the top floor of an old building. Right above my ceiling was a small, dusty attic space that was supposed to be sealed off. Every night, around 3 a.m., I would hear soft, slow footsteps directly above my bed. Creak, creak, creak. I called my landlord complaining about rats. He said he'd send a pest control guy next week. But I knew what rats sounded like. These weren't rats. Whatever was up there possessed the weight of a grown man. One night, the terror reached a breaking point. I was lying in bed staring at the ceiling in the pitch black, listening to the creaking noises above me. Suddenly, my iPhone screen lit up. It was an airdrop notification. Someone named John wanted to send me a photo. My hands shook as I tapped accept. The image opened. It was a photo of me, taken from the corner of my bedroom, looking down at me while I was lying in bed. It was taken in total darkness, likely using night vision. The terrifying part? The timestamp on the photo properties showed it was taken exactly 2 minutes ago. I didn't scream. The sheer terror paralyzed me. I slowly looked toward the dark corner of my room but saw nothing. Then I heard it. A soft, muffled chuckle coming from the ceiling hatch in my closet. I grabbed my phone, bolted out of bed, and ran into my tiny bathroom. I locked the door, slid my back down against it, and dialed 911. My voice was cracking as I told the operator that someone was in my apartment. While I was on the phone, I heard the closet door in my bedroom slowly creak open. Heavy, bare footsteps walked across my hardwood floor. They stopped right outside the bathroom door. The doorknob jiggled. Once. Twice. Then it stopped. There was a long silence. I held my breath, tears streaming down my face. Then a voice spoke through the thin wood of the door. It was John. His voice wasn't smooth anymore. It sounded raspy, distorted, and eager. "You should have read the terms of service, Leo," he whispered. "The peer-to-peer app states that if the user does not manually cancel the subscription within 24 hours of the first meeting, the contract becomes permanent, and I don't take cash for renewals." I screamed at him to leave. I told him the police were on their way. John just laughed. "I've been your friend for 3 years, Leo. You only just paid for it." A few minutes later, sirens blared outside. I heard loud footsteps running out of my bedroom. The police kicked my apartment door down and found me crying in the bathroom. They searched the entire place. The attic hatch was wide open. Inside the attic, they found a sleeping bag, empty food wrappers, and hundreds of printed photos of me taped to the wooden beams. But John was gone. He escaped through a fire escape window in the roof. It's been a year since that night. I moved to a completely different state, changed my major, and I never go anywhere alone anymore. The police never found John because, as it turns out, his face didn't match any government database. It's like he didn't exist. But 2 days ago, I bought a brand new phone with a completely new number. I didn't install any apps yet. But last night, while I was sitting in my new living room, my screen lit up, an airdrop notification from John. "If you ever find yourself lonely on your birthday, please, just stay alone. Don't look for friends in the dark corners of the internet, because you never know who has been waiting to be your friend all along. Let me know what you think of this story in the comments below. Stay safe out there, and thanks for watching."